welcome to lesson 1.1, Intro to the Apps. Alright, you'll notice I'm starting off from a just blank Google page, google.com, and aside from the fun little Google cartoon of the day, we are going to really look up in the upper right hand corner where I'm waving my mouse, and you will see what we call the waffle. It's these 9 dots organized in a nice little grid, but that doesn't flow off the tongue very well, so we're going to call it the waffle, so we have a common language to talk about this, and we're going to start off by clicking the waffle. When we click the waffle, we have all kinds of Google apps. I'm going to scroll around and kind of just point out some that we're going to use in this course. We're going to use Google Docs. Those are like documents where you would type maybe a paper or a story. Google Sheets is a spreadsheet. We'll come back to that a little bit more. Google Slide is a presentation you might make. Usually they tuck it down further away. Google Forms, sometimes not as commonly used, but it's actually super powerful, and we're going to actually find a lot of good uses for that. Another thing that we're going to use that kind of houses all of these things, it's the home for all of our stuff, is Google Drive, and that's where I want us to go right now. So let's click on Google Drive. Google Drive is a place to get organized. Organize all of your stuff, all of your files. We'll be most interested in using folders, but also Google Forms, Sheets, Slides, and to a lesser extent, but we will still do some PDFs, some pictures, and some docs. You'll notice up here at the top, this is the navigation of where you are. It starts off at My Drive, and that's where you should be right now. And then you might go into other folders. Maybe you don't even have any folders. Let's start off by making a folder together where we're going to house all of our things. This multicolored plus sign that says New, this is going to be an important button where we create new things. So we're going to click on that. And we have lots of options, but we're going to actually pick the first option, creating a new folder. And when we click that, ta-da, it wants us to give that folder a name. So let's make a folder for this course. We're going to call it Applying Apps. And when we create it, ta-da, there it is. Alphabetically it was at the top anyway, so it's at the top for us right here. Wonderful. If I click around, you can see whatever one I'm actively on is highlighted blue. So if I click on Applying Apps, the first thing we're going to want to do actually is share this with your teacher. How do you share it? You can either right-click, 2-finger click, or you can click this person with a plus up here. And when you click that person, it brings up a sharing menu. And you can type in an email address to share this with. So you all will want to type in my email address, which you can kind of see right there already, because this is me. It's hard for me to actually share it with myself. It may not bring up a little box recognizing me or not. You can type in an email address and it will share that with me. So once you hit enter on that, it will get you a little checkbox to notify the person, and then you can click send. Off it goes. Now that folder is shared with me. So now that way, if you are working on something and you put in that folder, I can always be able to get it, and you can know that your assignments are getting turned in. Terrific. Alright, well let's actually go inside of that folder. We can do that by double-clicking. And now if you notice, the navigation up here is changing. Yours probably just says My Drive and then Applying Apps. But you can see how we're kind of going deeper and deeper into folders. Alright, well now that we're in here, we're going to put some stuff in here. So we're going to go back to the New menu. This time we're going to go down to Google Docs. There are some other options over here. Most of the time we're just going to go ahead and click this. It's going to start us from a blank template. It will give you a warning that you're creating a document inside of a shared folder. Anything you create in here is shared with the person you've shared the folder with. So be aware that if you put something in here, it is shared with me. But we're going to create and share. Alright, first thing we get is we get a blank document. And up in the corner it says the document is untitled. Well, so often students can't find the things that they've already created. One way to really help with that is to give your document a title right off the bat. So if you're following along with our course, I'm going to have us put some numbers to start our document name. That way we know exactly kind of what lesson it went with. And I call this lesson 1.1, kind of like Unit 1, Lesson 1. So that's what I'm going to start off with. And I'm just going to call it 1.1 my first Google Doc. It might not actually be your first Google Doc. I'm sure you've created some in the past. All right, so we've created a document. Wonderful. If you want to go ahead and type your name in there, you are welcome to. But that's as far as we're taking that Google Doc here today. All right, so the next thing we're going to do actually is we're going to go to a new tab. And so in any new Google tab, google.com, we're going to just search for a picture. You can see it's already been going that direction. I want you to search for a picture. Let's go with your favorite dessert. And you see, I already did this. I love key lime pie. All right, so once you search for it, you might find some recipes and all kinds of fun things. We're going to switch from the search of all things to the search of just images. And I'm going to find the one that I think looks the best. And I like this one, so I'm going to click on that. Google brings it up over here on the side. If you right-click, control-click, two-finger click, you'll get a menu that looks like this. The option from the menu that we want is Save Image As. Great. Now you'll get popped up with a screen like this. You can save it right to your Downloads folder, but that's not as helpful. Those are only on your actual machine, the computer you're working with, as opposed to Google Drive you can access from anywhere. So I'm going to change it, and I'm going to go into my folders, and I've got so many folders, but you'll have hopefully less maddening of folders. But I'm going to go into that Applying Apps folder. See how I hit the down arrows to kind of go inside of folders until I got to Applying Apps. It might have called it something like nice like key lime pie, but if it didn't, it might have called it like download or some really long name. You might want to rename it. So I'm going to call this key lime pie. You don't have to put dashes. That's an old habit of mine to not put spaces in my file names. Okay. Notice it says it's JPG. If your file doesn't say JPG, if it says PNG, that's fine. If it says something like HTML, you're not actually downloading a picture. HTML is like a website. So if you know the types of endings that pictures have, that does help. But now we can go ahead and save it. Great. All right, you could copy it right to the clipboard right now if you wanted to. We're not going to do that. We can dismiss this. Now let's say accidentally you went to save your image and you just saved it to Downloads. Oops. You just click Save without thinking. Where did it go? One thing you can do right here is you can click this Show in Folder button. That means it's going to show you the picture in the folder where it is. Oh, it's in this Downloads folder. That's not where I wanted it. Well, we can again open up the folders to find our classes folder, Applying Apps. There it is down there. Don't click on it. If you did, you just have to come back. So if you clicked on this, you're like, oh no, where'd my picture go? I got to come back up here, Downloads. So whatever one you clicked on, that's where you are. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take this key lime pie picture and I can drag it right here, and when I'm on top of it, it gets gray. I moved it now, and now you can see I have two pictures of the key lime pie. All right, wonderful. I'm going to go ahead and close this. We don't need that right now. All right, we are going to go back to our Google Drive folder, Applying Apps. So hopefully you should see a bunch of tabs up at the top, and you might see Applying Apps right here already. If you need to get back there, though, remember, you can just find the name of the folder, double-click it, and then you can look up here to see where you are. All right, so now I'm in this folder. We're going to make another new things. We're just creating stuff. We're inventors today of documents. All right, so we're going to create a Google slide. A slide is used for making presentations. We get this warning every time about sharing our documents in this folder. If you get this option, personally, I think it's way better to keep it in Chrome. You have actually more controls here. When you open it outside of Chrome, it's just a mess. I don't know. I would stay in Chrome, and I might even remember that choice. Okay. Ooh, look, a spreadsheet. But wait, it's untitled again. All right, so up here in the title, I'm going to call this 1.1 My First Google Slide. Did I call it a spreadsheet again a second ago? I'm at a presentation. Okay, let's go ahead and add a little bit here. Let's add your name to the title here. You can just start typing in these boxes, and we can add today's date. All right, terrific. You've already edited a Google slide. Super cool. If you need to make more slides in your presentation, you can click this new slide button. And now another slide pops up here. Well, that's fun. I'm going to change the title of this one to My Favorite Dessert. And I don't really want this text box here. If you click on it, it'll turn blue and you can type in it. If you click with your mouse on the edge where you have this crosshair looking icon, now it's selected and you can hit like the backspace or delete key and it's gone. Alright, so that's out of there. I want to put that picture of my favorite dessert here. So if you look, you can do this a number of ways. There is this nice image icon here, and if you click that, you can go ahead and say from Google Drive. You can upload it from the web, you can search the web, if you have Google Photos, all kinds of things, but we're going to do it from Drive. And now over here on the left-hand side, it's working. It actually is right now just showing me the recent ones, and that might be good enough for you. But if it's not in one of your recent photos, you can go ahead and click My Drive, and then you can, I hate when it has these icons like this. I can't read what they say. So if you hate that too, you can change it to a list here. Great. And then we're going to go, and I'm going to find that folder. Oh, look. All my pictures. And then we can just go ahead and drag it right onto the screen. If it's too big, too small, you can change the size of it by dragging these corners. But now, look, we have a wonderful presentation of my favorite dessert. Man, now I want key lime pie. All right. Well, that was just so much fun. Let's go ahead and actually close everything we've got. Why would we do that? Because this happens to so many students. They've done something and then they want to come back to it. Oh man, how do we do that? All right, well, let's open. We can either open Chrome, Google Chrome, or we can go right to our Drive. It's up to you how you want to do that. So if we click on the Google Drive here, it will bring us right into our Google Drive. And then we can go to our folder for this class. So by double clicking on the name of the folder, we get right back there. Oh, that's awesome. Let's open up that slide again. And this time, I'm going to go over to the picture, and I'm going to change the size of it. I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller and put it in the middle of the picture. And if you want to, you can start getting fancy with things like you can choose this text box, and up here is where you can make the text centered. Oh, that looks a lot better than the last time. All right, that's looking better. All right, terrific. So let's recap what we did today. We made and shared a folder. We created and renamed a Google Doc. We saved and renamed an image. We created and edited a Google slide. We located files and folders. A lot of this organization might not be the most exciting thing to do, but it's necessary for us to go forward because we're going to be making more complicated projects, and we're going to need to be able to access, find, save, rename all of these things and access them quickly. So thanks for joining us.